32 teams are going to the knockout stage of this World Cup. You probably knew that. What most people don't know is how some of them got there. Because at least 8 of those 32 teams didn't win their group. They didn't finish second. They finished third, behind 2 other teams, lost at least 1 match, and still kept playing, while teams that actually won their group were already eliminated. That's not an accident. That's the format. And if you've been watching this tournament without fully understanding that, you've been missing the most chaotic subplot running underneath every single group stage match. Here's the part that should genuinely mess with your head. Haiti finished last in their group without a single point. They're going home. But a team that finished third in a different group, with 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 draw, might be heading into the round of 32 instead. Same tournament, completely different outcomes. And the margin separating those 2 realities isn't just results. It's goal difference, goals scored, yellow cards, and in some cases, a FIFA ranking calculated before the tournament even started. You can do almost everything right and go home because a teammate picked up a booking in a match you won. That's the World Cup you've been watching. Welcome to the 48-team format, 12 groups of 4 teams. Every team plays 3 games. The top 2 from each group advance automatically. That gives you 24 teams. But the knockout round needs 32, so FIFA built a second door. The 8 best third-place finishers, out of 12 possible, also advance. 4 third-place teams go home. 8 keep playing. And the system used to decide which 8 is where this tournament gets genuinely strange. First tiebreaker, points. Simple. More points, higher ranking. Second, goal difference. Third, goals scored. All logical on paper. But none of those 3 tiebreakers account for who you played. A team that drew twice against Argentina and France sits in the same column as a team that drew twice against the weakest sides in the tournament. The numbers look identical. The reality couldn't be more different. And then comes the 4th tiebreaker, which is the one that already changed real outcomes at this tournament. Team conduct score. Yellow cards and red cards, counted and converted into a ranking. 1 yellow card costs your team 1 point in this system. A direct red costs 4. And when everything else is equal, the team with fewer cards advances and the other goes home. This already happened. Brazil, Belgium, and Portugal all drew their opening matches 1-1. Same points, same goal difference, same goals scored. The tiebreaker that separated them wasn't a result. It was the fact that Portugal's players collected 3 yellow cards, while Brazil and Belgium each collected 2. 1 extra booking. 1 extra time a referee reached into his pocket. Portugal dropped out of the top 8 third-place spots because of a single yellow card in a match they didn't even lose. Here's the number nobody's talking about: 495. That's how many different combinations of third-place qualifiers are mathematically possible in this format. The 8 teams from groups A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H could advance. Or it could be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I. Or any other variation across 12 groups. Every single one of those 495 combinations produces a completely different set of knockout bracket matchups. The tournament you're going to watch in the round of 32 isn't decided until the last group stage match finishes. FIFA has actually published a document listing all 495 possible bracket configurations. That document exists. Someone had to write it. And because the bracket changes depending on which third-place teams advance, teams that already qualified don't even know who they're playing yet. The United States clinched first place in their group before the final match day. They knew they were through. What they didn't know was whether their round of 32 opponent would come from Group B, E, F, I, or J, because that depends entirely on which third-place teams make the cut. You can win your group and still have no idea what your knockout path looks like until the very last group stage whistle blows somewhere else in the tournament. What this means in practice is that the final round of group stage matches isn't just about the teams still fighting for survival. It's about teams that are already through watching other matches obsessively, trying to calculate which bracket scenario gives them the easiest road to the final. A goal scored in a match between two teams you've never heard of, in a group that has nothing to do with yours, can completely reshape your tournament. That's not dramatic license. That's literally how this works. So let's talk about what actually happens to the teams that survive as third-place finishers, because advancing through that second door doesn't put you on equal footing with everyone else. It puts you on the hardest possible path through the rest of the tournament. FIFA's bracket format pairs every third-place qualifier directly against a group winner in the round of 32. Not a runner-up, a group winner. The teams that finished first, the ones who took maximum points and dominated their groups, are the exact opponents waiting for every team that snuck through in third. You survived the conduct score tiebreaker. You outlasted 11 other third-place teams on goal difference. You made it through the second door, and your reward is a matchup against the best team in their group who's been building momentum and rotating players with the luxury of already being through. Meanwhile, 4 of the 12 group winners play against runners-up instead of third-place teams. So within the same round of 32, some group winners get a third-place opponent and some get a second-place opponent. The bracket isn't balanced. It can't be, with 495 possible configurations producing different matchups every time. Some teams get an easier path simply because of which combination of third-place teams happen to qualify. A country's entire World Cup trajectory can hinge on whether a team in a completely unrelated group won or lost their final match. Curaçao is the perfect example of what this format actually looks like when it works against you in every direction at once. They held Ecuador to a draw in a match where Ecuador had 3.08 expected goals. Their goalkeeper, Eloy Room, made save after save, tying the all-time World Cup record for saves in normal time in a single match. By any measure of performance, they were the better team for long stretches. They still needed results elsewhere to go their way to advance as a third-place team. And that's a sentence that would have made no sense in any previous World Cup. You can play the game of your lives and still need someone in a different stadium to lose for you. Here's the part that reframes everything you just read. A team that finished third in their group, that needed a yellow card tiebreaker to survive, that got paired against a group winner in the round of 32, can still win this entire tournament. Not theoretically, not as a mathematical curiosity. As a documented outcome in a major international tournament that happened less than a decade ago. Portugal finished third in their group at Euro 2016. They had 1 win, 2 draws, and a goal difference of 0 after the group stage. They were one of the worst third-place finishers to advance. Their fans were furious. Their coach was being questioned publicly, and they won the whole thing. Beat France in the final on French soil, with Cristiano Ronaldo watching from the sideline with an injury. Carried by players nobody outside Portugal had seriously discussed before the tournament started. Third place in the group stage. European champions. The 48-team format at this World Cup doesn't just allow that outcome, it makes it more likely. More teams advance, more paths exist. More bracket combinations mean more opportunities for a team that stumbled through the group stage to find their footing in the knockouts and go on a run nobody saw coming. The chaos of the third-place system, the yellow card tiebreakers, the 495 bracket combinations, the group winners facing opponents they couldn't predict until the final whistle of the group stage. All of it cuts both ways. It creates unfairness. It also creates upsets. So the next time you see a third-place team walking